Okay, I found this guy named Nick Baird, right? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start running and lifting. I'm gonna be a hybrid athlete. I could just go out and run. Ordered running shoes, went out. I did like 2 months straight of 3 runs a week, every single week, as hard as possible. I ran as hard as I possibly could every single run. And I didn't get any faster. I got slower. I had injuries. My shins hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, and I hated running. I hated it because it was just taxing on my body, draining on my body, and my body hurt. But then I started learning about how to build aerobic base, and that's when I started to find my joy in running. I love going out for an easy run, and while they can get repetitive, you have your speed work. So that's when you can just let it loose. And then it feels so good to get back to an easy run. And you got your long runs, which are really enjoyable. Go out on a Saturday morning, get up early on Saturday, go out for your long run, enjoy it, go see some new scenery, maybe throw some headphones in, listen to a podcast, listen to some music, have a good time, be alone with your thoughts, and then come back, make a really good breakfast with a coffee. That is the perfect Saturday, or the perfect way to start a Saturday. Going out, doing something hard, getting fit, coming back, eating some healthy, nutritious food, having a black coffee, getting the day started right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tickets Towards Success podcast, where we talk about health, fitness, finance, and the mindset needed to thrive in all areas of life. I am your host, Tucker Nunakoven, and thank you for tuning in to episode 11 today. In this episode, we're going to be uncovering a counterintuitive truth about running. And the truth is, if you want to run faster, you must first run slower. That is the best way to do it, and that is right. The best endurance runners in the world don't spend all of their time sprinting. Instead, they master the art of easy runs. So whether you're training for a marathon, looking to improve endurance, or simply trying to become a better runner, understanding the balance between slow and fast running is key to long-term progress. What you can expect in episode 11 today is why running slow is the secret to running fast, the science behind aerobic base building, how elite runners structure their training, and just some practical tips to improve your running performance. As a quick reminder, if you do enjoy today's episode, I would really, really appreciate it if you subscribed, left a comment, and let me know what you thought of this episode. My goal is to reach as many people as possible this year, so please share it with someone that you know that may benefit from these insights as well. And I thank you in advance. So with that being said, let's jump into part 1 of this episode, and that is why running slow makes you faster. So this is going to sound completely backwards. Like, how does running slow consistently make you faster over time? Because the key to improving your running speed isn't about running fast all the time. It's actually about slowing it down, and the concept is rooted in aerobic base building, aerobic development, which strengthens your body's ability to process oxygen efficiently. It improves your endurance, and it can really delay your fatigue, which is all essential to running faster over time. So what you need to know, and why does this benefit you? Let's talk about aerobic and anaerobic energy systems. Your body relies on 2 primary energy systems when running. The first one being aerobic system. So this is where it uses oxygen for sustained energy. And then the anaerobic system, that kicks in for a short, like high intensity training sessions, high intensity efforts. About 80 to 90% of marathon and distance running relies on aerobic system, the aerobic base. Meaning if you don't train it properly, you're going to burn out a lot faster. Running slow also improves our mitochondrial density. So it's the energy powerhouse in our cells, in our body, which allows our body to produce energy more efficiently for longer periods of time. The second thing that you need to know about why running slow makes you faster is it prevents injuries and it's really good for longevity. It's really good for your health because running fast all the time puts a lot of strain on our bodies. It puts a lot of strain on our muscles, our tendons, our joints, and it increases the risk of injury at a very high level. But running slow helps strengthen our connective tissues. It also reduces the impact of stress on our joints and on our body. Therefore, it keeps you healthier in the long term. You're able to run for a longer period of time. You're able to keep doing that. You're able to still keep training as you get older. So think of it as like building a house. The foundation of a house has to be solid before you can add walls and add a roof. But in running, your foundation is your aerobic base, your aerobic system. The stronger that your aerobic system is, the better that you're going to perform at high speeds. So I know part one was a lot to take in, and some of it may have not made a lot of sense. So let's talk about the science behind aerobic base building. So we've talked about it. When you run at a lower intensity, your body adapts in several important ways. We already talked about this one. It increases the mitochondrial density in your body. So mitochondria are the energy powerhouses in our cells, like I said. And when you're running at a lower heart rate, it helps your body produce more mitochondria, which leads to better endurance and efficiency. Now, how does it do this? It creates higher lactate clearance. Therefore, it creates better endurance. So what is lactate? Lactate is a byproduct of the anaerobic metabolism, and too much of it can lead to muscle fatigue. If any of you have done sprints before, for example, and the next day or even after, your legs just feel like jello, they're super sore, that's because you built up a lot of lactate in your muscles, therefore making them fatigued, therefore making you sore. And if you have a stronger aerobic base and you have more mitochondria, your muscles become more efficient at clearing lactate and converting it back into usable energy. So the better that your aerobic base is, the faster you can clear lactate from your muscles. Therefore, you're able to not be as sore. You're able to run at faster speeds and not be sore for longer periods of time. And the way that it does this is when you build your aerobic base, it's your ability to take in oxygen into your body. So the more that you build up your aerobic base, the more you strengthen your heart, the more you strengthen your lungs, you're going to be able to take in even more oxygen over time. And that is how you're able to clear that lactate faster. So it allows you to run at faster paces for longer without hitting fatigue as quickly. Okay, so let's talk about how when you build your aerobic base, it improves your fat utilization. So your body, our bodies, prefer to burn fat for energy during low intensity exercises. Not high intensity, low intensity. And our bodies switch to carbohydrates when we run fast. So when we're running fast, our bodies utilize glycogen and carbohydrates in our bodies to provide us with energy to keep up that pace. But when we're running at low intensity, we're able to use fat and use that as an energy source. So when you train at a slower pace, it teaches your body to use that fat efficiently. And then it also preserves the glycogen stores in your muscles so you don't hit the dreaded wall during long runs or during races and during speed workouts as well. Another great thing about running slow is that it actually helps us develop more capillaries. Now, capillaries are tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen into our muscles. And it goes back to what I was talking about a little bit ago, how when we build our aerobic base, we're able to get more oxygen. As we continue to build that base, it helps us get more oxygen into our body so we can run faster and we can clear that lactate. So the more capillaries means that we have, it means better oxygen flow in our bodies, which helps you sustain those higher speeds with less effort over time. And studies actually show that low intensity training increases capillary density. So it's improving endurance and recovery between hard sessions. That is why if you go out for an easy run, say you go out for a 6-mile easy run, you do not feel that sore after the next day or 2 days after. You're not sore at all. Because for one, you didn't build up any lactate in your muscles, so you're not going to feel that. But you also increased your capillary density. And that's why it's very important. And this is why elite runners spend 80% of their training in an easy pace, doing easy runs. They only do 20% at high intensity. And that's the way that I train right now. And the method is known as the 80-20 rule in endurance. 80% of the time you're doing easy runs. 20% of the time is your speed work and getting those high twitch muscle fibers in your body to kind of engage and just making sure that those are still strong and those are still present, because you will need those during race day. But that's the science behind why running slower actually improves your endurance instead of just running fast consistently all the time. Now, we talked about how elite runners spend their training, but how do they structure their training? So world-class runners like Eliud Kipchoge, I have no idea if I said that right. I've heard his name be said before. He's the greatest endurance runner of all time. I think that's how you say it, so don't quote me on that. But if you haven't seen him, he actually broke the marathon world record. He ran sub 2 hours. I think it was like 1 hour and 59 minutes. I don't know, 58 or 59 minutes. But he ran sub 2 hours in a marathon, 26.2 miles in under 2 hours. I ran a half marathon, 13.1 miles, in 1 hour and 54 minutes. That's insane. That's insane. And guys like him, they don't push themselves to the max every session. It's not what they do. They carefully balance their training with a combination of easy runs, long runs, speed work, and rest and recovery. So those easy runs, I've mentioned a few times, that's how you build your aerobic endurance without overstressing your body. That's how you just put on some mileage. Get some mileage, get that under your belt. Now, your long runs, that's how you develop stamina and mental toughness. Because let's be honest, when you are going on those long runs, when you got that 15, 20-mile long run, you do not want to do it at all. I got a 20-mile long run in my marathon prep. I think it's in week 12 out of 16 weeks. Man, I am already not looking forward to that. But it'll help me develop a lot of stamina and a lot of mental toughness, especially because I'll need that come race day. Now, your speed work, obviously, it's in the name. That's going to enhance efficiency and anaerobic power. That's going to help with those high twitch muscle fibers, just getting those activated, getting those present, getting those stronger for race day. Rest and recovery, super important. I'm terrible about this. Never been good at it, but it's probably the most important one on this list. You got to allow your body to rebuild and adapt to the training that you're doing, the training that you're putting your body through. You have to let it adapt to this new form of training that you're doing. Because if you don't rest and recover right, you're going to get injuries that may last for a long time. And that's not what you want. Trust me, I'm going through an injury right now. It's not from running, but it still sucks. It's lingering. And You do not want that. And just to mention, I do this exact same thing in my training programs, and I'm not an elite runner. Okay, I do my easy runs 80% of the time. I do my long runs, do my speed work, and I'm trying to get better at my rest and recovery. I say I've gotten a lot better at my recovery, stretching, mobility, foam roll, Theragun, sauna, active recovery. My rest could probably be a little bit better. I don't get too much sleep, get about 6 hours a night, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But this is how I structure my training. I think it's how everyone should, because before I started learning about running, before I started learning about how to build an aerobic base, I would go out. Okay, I found this guy named Nick Bear, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start running and lifting. I'm gonna be a hybrid athlete. I was like, I know how to do that. I could just go out and run. Ordered running shoes, went out. I did like 2 months straight of 3 runs a week, every single week, as hard as possible. I ran as hard as I possibly could every single run. And I didn't get any faster. I got slower, to be honest with you. I got slower. I had injuries. My shins hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. And I hated running. I hated it. Because I did not want to go out and just put in all this effort. Because it was just taxing on my body, draining on my body. And my body hurt. But then I started learning about how to build your aerobic base. And that's when I started to find my joy in running. I love going out for an easy run. And while they can get repetitive, you have your speed work that fits into that week. So that's when you can just let it loose, let it go. And then it feels so good to get back to an easy run. And you got your long runs, which are really enjoyable. Go out on a Saturday morning, get up early on Saturday, go out for your long run, enjoy it, go see some new scenery, maybe throw some headphones in, listen to a podcast, listen to some music, have a good time, be alone with your thoughts, and then come back, make a really good breakfast. That is a Saturday with a coffee. Make a really good breakfast with a coffee. That is the perfect Saturday. The perfect Saturday. The perfect way to start a Saturday. Let's put it that way. Going out, doing something hard, getting fit, coming back, eating some healthy, nutritious food, having a black coffee, getting the day started right. But that's what I like to do. That's how I structure my training. So what is the takeaway from part 3 here? How elite runners structure their training. Training smarter beats training harder. If the best runners in the world slow down to speed up, you probably should too. So don't be naive. Learn and grow and do it right. If you truly want to get faster, truly want to build endurance, do it right. If you really don't care, you just want to go out for a casual jog, that's fine too. This is what I care about. I want to build my endurance. I want to get my times down, and I want to run fast splits. So that's what I have to do. But if the pros train like it, so should you. Now, Tucker, we've talked about what elite runners do. We've talked the science behind aerobic base building. We've talked about how it benefits us. How do I apply this to my own running? Well, if you want to improve your running, all you have to do is implement a few things. If you want to improve your endurance, all you have to do is implement a few things. Number 1, determine your easy pace. So a good rule of thumb, if you can't hold a conversation while you're running, you're going too fast. So slow down and focus on your effort over your pace. If you wear a watch, don't even look at your watch. Don't look at anything. Just run slow enough to where you can have a conversation if someone was with you. And if you are with someone, you can have casual conversations with them. Just run slow, nice and easy. Number 2, track your heart rate. So you can wear a heart rate monitor to make sure that you're staying in the right zone. So you can wear a watch, you can wear an armband, you can wear a chest strap. That's what I wear. I wear a chest strap. And a good rule of thumb to follow with this too is take 180 minus your age, and that's going to give your max aerobic heart rate. So I'm 25. If I take 180 minus 25, I get 155. So I need my heart rate to stay below 155 beats per minute when I'm on my easy runs. And I track that through my watch, and I also wear a chest strap that connects to my watch, and then I get a better reading since it's closer to my heart. You can also calculate this if you know your VO2 max. You can do it by certain percentages of that, but you have to get that tested. So this is kind of just an easier way. I mean, my max aerobic heart rate might be a little bit higher than that, but at least I know that I am staying safe and I'm keeping it below that 155. Also, another thing that I haven't done a lot of research about, but I've also just kind of found out from my running experiences that to follow the 10-minute rule, that's what I call it, the 10-minute heart rate rule. In the first 10 minutes of your run, your heart rate is going to fluctuate the most. Okay? So in that first 10 minutes, you might go from 130 to 150 to 141 to 158. It's going to fluctuate. And if you start running in that first 10 minutes, you're going to notice that you're breathing kind of heavy because you're just beginning that run. But after those 10 minutes, that's when your heart rate settles in. And that's when you can start taking in those deep breaths, getting more oxygen. So that means in the first 10 minutes, make sure you're going especially easy. That way you can keep that heart rate low, wait for it to settle in, and then you can start to pick up the pace a little bit when it's not fluctuating as much. And also learn about your zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. And you can do that once you find your max aerobic heart rate. Anything under 155 for me is going to be zone 2, zone 1, zone 2. And you go above that, it's usually like a 6-7 split. But you also need to figure out what your max heart rate is as well. A good way that you can do this is you can go to a track and you can run 30 minutes all out, best effort you can give. And at the end of that run, at the end of that 30 minutes, look at what your heart rate is. That's your max heart rate. And then you can go back and you can calculate your zones based off that. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do that. You can look it up on Google. It'll come up and then you can know exactly what your zones are. Or you can just stick with 180 minus your age, play it safe, go from there because you really don't need your zones any more than for your easy runs. Another thing is make sure that you apply the 80-20 rule like we talked about. 80% of the time, easy runs, 20% of the time, higher intensity workouts. Number 4 is to be patient. Be patient. The benefits of slow running takes time, but they lead to long-term gains. Okay, trust the process. I have a tough time with this because I want to go out and I want to run. I want to run fast. I see other people, they're running faster splits than me. Okay, I'm doing the same training. I feel like I'm not getting faster, but you are. You will see progress within the first couple months, especially if you're just starting out running. If you implement these easy runs, stay in that zone 2, build your aerobic base for 2 months, you will start to get faster little by little. So just be patient and trust the process. Number 5, listen to your body. Recovery is just as important as training. If you're feeling exhausted or constantly sore, you need to dial it back. Just listen to your body. I can promise that you're not going to lose out on anything. Make sure you're taking care of your body. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're getting enough rest and make sure you're recovering properly. Okay, this was a super short episode. I just wanted to get this one out because I think it's super important to know why running slow makes you faster and why you need to implement it into your training program and the science that is built behind it. So I have a couple of final thoughts that I want to share with you today about this episode. And just remember that running is a lifelong journey. If you are serious about becoming an endurance runner, an endurance athlete, about building your endurance, about running, if you're serious about running and taking that serious, it is a lifelong journey. The key to lasting improvement is always going to be balance. If you're always pushing yourself to the max, to the limit, burnout and injuries are always going to be inevitable. But if you learn to embrace slower running, if you learn to find peace in that, your speed and your endurance are naturally going to improve. So please remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to running, literally. So be patient and enjoy the process, enjoy that journey, especially if you are serious about building your endurance. Second thought is I was listening to, again, Nick Bear's podcast today, and he had his trainer on the podcast, Jeff Cunningham. And they were talking about how to train for your first marathon, which I thought was very cool because he literally released the episode on my first day of prep, my marathon prep for my marathon in June, Grandma's Marathon, which will be my first marathon. So I thought that came at a perfect time for me. But Jeff Cunningham is talking in the episode in one of the parts, and he says, there is always going to be days that you don't want to run, especially if you're in a training prep. You're never going to wake up and just be fired up every single day to go out and run in the cold and the heat and the snow and the rain. He says that you're going to have to go through the mud to get to that point where your mindset has shifted and you are just battling every single day to get better. And your mindset has shifted to, I don't have to do this, I get to do this. There's people out there that are too sick to run. There are people out there that have no legs. There's people out there that have one leg. There's people out there that have certain diseases that they can't run. There's people out there that have certain conditions that don't allow them to run. You get to do these things because God blessed you with this ability. You get to go out and run. So next time you wake up in the morning and it's going to happen, and you're going to say, I just don't want to go do this right now. I got 8 miles. I got to go do a speed workout. I got 15-mile long run. Man, I don't want to do this. You get to do this. And apply that into other things in your life as well. You get to have that job. You get to eat healthy. You get to have the resources to eat healthy. Okay. You get to go to that family gathering. You get to hug your parents. You get to be with your friends. You get to spend time with your significant other. You get to do all these things. And there's a lot of people that don't have that same blessing. So just make sure that you remember that, make sure you're grateful for it, and continue to work hard and continue to live in the present and continue to enjoy those moments. And also, next time that you hit the pavement, remember, run slow instead of running fast, unless if you're doing a speed workout. So I have a few key takeaways from today's episode. The first one, run slow to run fast. We talked about it. We talked about how it benefits you, the importance of it, how it'll actually help you build endurance. And we talked about the science behind building aerobic base building. And there's a lot more out there than what I shared today. I encourage you to go out there and do your own research, look into it, watch people on YouTube that have proven this concept. Go and look at people that are running fast splits and look at what they are doing for their training. So run slow to run fast. We also talked about how you can apply this to your own running, how you can apply it to your own training plan. And remember, you have 4 main components to that, and that's easy runs, long runs, speed workouts, and rest and recovery, with rest and recovery probably being the most important part. Make sure that you're recovering properly, stretching, mobility, getting a good amount of rest, and make sure that you're doing and structuring out your runs specifically to who you are as a runner and to what your goals are for running. And that is it for episode 11 of the Tickets Towards Success podcast. Like I said, this was a little bit of a shorter episode. I will get back to some longer episodes here in the future, but I felt like I had covered everything that I needed to in this script. And if I didn't, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about the shorter episodes compared to the longer ones. Which ones do you like better? Do you like the shorter ones because you can get through it faster? Or do you like the longer ones when I give you more information about the topic of choice for that episode? Let me know down in the comments. Like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're up for it, don't have to, but if you're up for it, share this with someone that you think may enjoy this content, may benefit from these insights that I shared today or in the past 10 episodes. Like I said at the beginning, we talk about health, fitness, finance, and mindset. So be sure to share it with someone that may be able to benefit from any of those topics that we talk about here on the podcast. Be sure to follow me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. For more content like this, you can follow the Tickets Towards Success pages. I post clips from the podcast, some key moments from each episode 7 days a week. You can also follow my personal page at The Real Tucker N. That is where I post more health and fitness content and bonus content as well. Don't forget, I post new episodes every single Monday, and next Monday, we're going to talk about how eating healthy is the key to longevity and happiness. So turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode, or download my podcast, because why not? You may as well just download it for continuous updates for when a new episode comes out. That way you don't have to keep checking back every single Monday. Remember, every step forward grants you another ticket toward achieving your goals, and the more that you collect, the more that you'll learn and grow. And I want everyone to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to be healthy. I will see you in the next episode, and thank you so much for tuning in today.